Hello, cosmic beings, and welcome to your reading. This is going to be pick a pile, pick a card, pick a deck reading. I think it's probably just going to be pick a pile reading because I would like to pull an oracle card for each of these piles, and that way you guys can get a good idea of which one could be for you. And today we are starting off with the Manga Tarot, the Star Tarot, and the Crow Tarot. These two are actually my two newest in my collection, and this one is not necessarily like the newest or the oldest, but has still been in my collection for a while. I actually use this deck specifically for a specific deity work, kind of. It's a very flexible deck energetically, and I use it in a very versatile way. So my deity does not mind me using this deck to give messages. Sometimes it may be from them, sometimes it may not be. Usually I pick it up during the reading as it goes. But as always, we are going to take what resonates and leave what doesn't. This is just going to be, what do you need to hear right this second? Like right now, what needs to shake you up, wake you up in order to kind of get right with yourself, get right in line with whatever you need to do in the moment, whatever you feel like you need to do with your life, if you're not even sure what that may be. So let's start off one card with the Manga Tarot. You may hear some background music. It's very, very quiet. What card does the Manga Tarot pile need to hear? Especially, this card will be playing into the reading. Oh, we'll do... Is that 3 exactly? No way. We're gonna do... It literally has 1, 2, 3 exact, but I think I'm going to do it this way. The Ring, the Seed, and the One. So I'm gonna let you have some time with this, and I'll probably turn up the music here, give you guys a second to see how it feels. Whatever you may feel, lean to choose, look at, take it in, trust your gut, trust your intuition, and there are no wrong answers. And yes, you are welcome to watch every reading and see which one best fits for you. That's so totally okay. Always remember to take what resonates and leave what doesn't. There could be some parts of a reading that could have been good information, helpful to know, but then there could have been that one reading that was very on point. So always trust your gut, and let's get into choosing, shall we? Okay, you chose the One. This is definitely going to be quite an interesting reading because this card doesn't necessarily mean what you think it could mean. There's obviously the concept of the one feeling attached to somebody and feeling like they are the one. But what if that one was maybe yourself? I'm going to read to you the book because I feel like the book just has a great way of wording things. And I think we're just going to read some bits on the side here as well. It is said that Om is the primordial sound of the universe and that all other mantras are born from it. Simply imagining this possibility will activate the One. The One is also in reference to Unus Mundus. It is a circle representing unity of existence. Is it possible that the beginning and end of all things is love? This is the big thing that the One likes to talk about. Our ability to experience this archetype firsthand is limited. It comes in brief and potent moments that we are left to savor for a lifetime. The One is both the energy that unites all living beings and our capacity to sense this intimate union. That is a very clever key part, I feel like, that wants to be pointed out here. This archetype eludes us most of our lives, appearing as a concept in a distant galaxy, yet when we are in the midst of its power, a solemn reverence falls across the land. We glimpse ourselves into the vastness of all consciousness, and are neither small nor large within that field. We're neither important nor unimportant. All duality fades away, and we are left with what is, the precious knowing that life is a gift, and we are both the giver and receiver of this fortune. There's a lot that this card really shines light on, and this could totally, inherently shine light on the one key thing that keeps you going in life. There's so much to our world that feels almost like we are running amok without a clear vision in line. Something about where you are in this current moment is almost super vividly like asking you, what do you want? Because you know the one thing that you can do is give and receive love, not only to yourself but to your life. Because when inherently you do it to yourself, you are inherently doing it for your whole entire life. And I think that's a big thing to just recognize. Sorry, I thought my microphone was turned up a bit more. Excuse me if I was quiet or a little too quiet. Just want to make sure y'all can hear me. Are you hearing yourself? Can you hear it? Can you hear the beat of your own drum, I want to say? We're going to probably do 3 or 4 cards. We have the Hermit. I think it's going to be 4. I think you like the idea of just staying indoors, literally, like the Hermit. But this is where I think you know you're not that kind of person to just constantly stay in a hermit stage. That's not really who you need to be. Like, you don't need to be hidden away, locked with all your treasures, and only seeking things outside of you and your outworld view. If it's like an abandoned place that has no people or not many animals even, it feels like. Maybe you're cool with animals, but there's something about that Hermit card that you're like, yep, I'll just stay here and I'll forage on my lonesome. And that's cool and that's fine and that's my life. There's this thing screaming at you saying it doesn't have to be. Oh my. I think it goes like this because we have 8 and 9 of cups back to back. Yeah, I shuffled this deck very well. Actually, a lot recently, even though this is a brand new deck. I did make sure that this was shuffled. So, I think we're gonna pull like a final card for the middle here, but we're actually gonna pull some more oracle cards to kind of do a cross message here. You have the Hermit and the Tower just like heavily on one side, and two minor arcana dealing with emotion, relationships, just in all relationships, even family or just coworkers, kind of like simple things, the general like aspect of relationships in your life. And thinking that they could never be as full as they are now, but that is where part of you is like getting such a big push that you're just kind of getting it wrong. And this is where the Tower comes in, because this is shaking up your whole entire worldview that I don't even think you see, like where you want to go in all of this. We'll pull the top card from that. Okay, this is a very, very crazy dynamic. We have 2 oracle decks here that we're gonna pull from just to quickly like connect everything in the reading. I feel strongly that you can almost like connect to this thing that I feel like you're trying very hard to connect to. It's not how you think. I think what the one is really trying to get at isn't like there's the one path, the one destiny, the one fate that you have in your life. I think you are kind of coming to a big realization that you can see multiple fates, multiple aspects, multiple destinies, possibilities in your life. And that is the clever point here. That is the key. That is the essence and archetype of the one. Everything that we give in order to receive, or that we receive in order to give, vice versa, this life creating energy is essentially, at the end of the day, could be love, could be just the fact that the fact that you get to be alive to inherently like give and receive, I want to say, is something it's so like, God, so specific to explain this, because I think you understand how like dualistic this is becoming, but it's all these levels of like 2 sides of the coin, like going back and forth till you literally only just see the coin like for what it is. And that's where the Tower is, this energy of completely revamping your whole entire mindset and mentality on how you've lived your life. But it's not because you failed, it's because you're moving on for something better. Going from the 8 of Cups to the 9 of Cups reversed. The 9 of Cups reversed, I feel like, is a big reminder to not let go of any goals that you have for your true like inner self, your dream. If you have dreams, do not let them go. You are being so asked to hold on to these things and hold on to the structure that you have in your life. I feel like we're gonna get some cards, 2 each, one for here, then we're gonna flip that one. And the candle is melting. Don't worry about the candle. If you are watching it, it happens. This is actually a little bit of candle wax here. It's not that hard to get off. I just haven't gotten this little bit off. Alright, this is called the Shamanic Healing Oracle. And I think sometimes it can be very helpful in clarifying and connecting the dots here. you got healing energy, number 20, healing energy. And what else here? What is this one? Number 14, teaching. Interesting. Next up, we're gonna do the Sacred Geometry Oracle here. Oh boy, that one flew at me. Ooh, okay, yeah, I see. I see what they mean now. Are you... This is 7. Heptagon. And Nonagon, I think it is 9. And we all have this, like, a lot of symbolism of 8 and 9. So I wonder if there's going to be an 8 under this card here. Okay. I'll put these off to the side. This, I want to read the book on these ones, obviously. I'm not going to expect you to know what these mean, but this is essentially exactly what's happening in its lamest terms possible. Whatever you feel like you're experiencing and things that you can't ignore, I can't ignore this, can't ignore that, there's something here trying to teach you something, teaching you how to keep your own achievements, accomplishments, dreams alive in something that feels so, what kind of feels like to you, shallow and dark. When this is upside down, all I see is this person's like praying hands here in this card of the 8 of Cups. And it's almost like you trusting and just praying and hoping and having faith that you can see this through, that you know what is best for you. And part of you has kind of felt like disconnected from that, and I think that's the big part that's healing here, is what you didn't see under the surface while you were trying to hope and pray for something, this, hope and pray for this and that. This hoping and praying can be done, but also don't forget movement, don't forget action, don't forget your ability to create something. So we're going to move on to the Sacred Geometry Oracle, and this is the Heptagon. The Heptagon is a 7-sided polygon of veneration. It represents movement through cycles. There are 7 days in a week, 7 chakras, 7 rainbow rays, 7 planets, 7 seas, 7 musical notes, 7 stages of transformation. 7 weaves its way through mythology as Athena used the 7-sided symbol to weave her magical exploits. Sound and music are intimately connected to sacred geometry and the number 7, and through the harmonies created by music, we're able to connect with the music of the spheres. This card sees that you are looking for harmony in the cycles of your life. Each action you take creates harmony or discord. Each decision adds to the music you create and the joy and growth you experience. Or, from what it was saying, or from the discord and other things that you could oppositely create. And when it's in reverse, this discord threatens that harmony that you are trying to create. Once you decide what you want to correct in this discord, the method will come easily to you. It is in desiring change and harmony that you create it. I think that's the big thing that you can't help yourself, is like you can't help to desire change, to desire to not necessarily just fight for something, but fight for your own like self in life, and feel like you can do something with that energy and create something with that energy, because you can. You can do it. You can create harmony where you feel like there is none. Next, we have the Nonagon. Completion. The Nonagon... sorry, it's silly to say Nonagon. The Nonagon depicts 9-sided geometry coming from the greatest single-digit number in it is a boundary. 9 is the trinity of trinities. It represents perfection, balance, and order. It is the ultimate extension, achievement, and completion. I was going to say contemplation. I feel like this is something you are contemplating as well. All of the things that are representing this more than perfect time for you, if that makes sense. This being in reversed, however, does have different meanings. It does say something about you're holding on to something that has already passed, but it's not like it's already passed. It's like something broke through you and broke through this aspect of you that you thought you couldn't ever see before. And this is where the teaching is now happening. You've had healing energy in this hermit stage for so long that you have broken right through what I feel like you are inherently teaching yourself. You're I don't like how it's like you are stuck in the longing for what is now completed. It's very, very abrupt, but it's saying the feelings of feeling stuck for things that are already completed. And it says very, very harsh words in this book, but I'm gonna reword it. I don't mind this book, but it's also, let me just read the sentence, and this is the part I want to focus on in how to unread what I'm reading, because it's a different, like, it's obviously, I'm reading the cards and its energy, so it's not going to be exactly like the book. But this also may give you a little bit of a laugh if you need it. You are stuck in the longing for what is now completed, and you suffer from your unwillingness to let things go. There is unwillingness to do something, but it's because you are a little bit scared of losing what you have so desperately, like, clung on to here when it comes to your achievements and accomplishments. So maybe this is where the book is going to be thrown to the side for a second, because this is where I will take it to get all of the detailed meanings. There's a lot of shapes. I can't remember all the shapes. I will in due time. But you are clinging on to this idea that you're going to lose something, and I think you are forgetting that you have everything to gain in the sense of life that you are willing to give these, like, achievements, accomplishments, these dreams, these goals, possibilities, career opportunities that emotionally fulfill you. You're going to be able to not only go after those goals still and fill those internal cups of success for you, but you're going to fill it with more than just what you originally had planned. I think there's this big thing that needs to be added where you are filling it with the idea of you can teach yourself how to break through even the toughest of barriers, especially the ones that seem like they can't, like, be broken past. Maybe they can be figured out, or maybe they can be accepted, because sometimes we can accept that I may not get past you right now, but one day we'll break through. That energy creates and gives and basically has you receive energy that fuels the fire of your soul, fuels that internal emotional fulfillment for things that you really, like, fully enjoy in life. And for this last card, you have 8 of Pentacles. Do not stop working. This is literally the working card. This person in every single tarot deck is always working on something. They're just working. And they're like, oh yes, may I help you? I'm kind of busy here. I'm almost done the 8th pentacle for my 8 pentacle project. And you're like, holy shit, how did you create that? Yeah. The aspect of the Eight Pentacles is giving me this: do not give up. You are so close to where you want to be, and you don't want to start from 1 out of 10 again. You are at 8 out of 10. Think of something that is 80% completion right now. And I think the fact that this is in the center, because we literally have 7, 8, 9, oh my fucking god. You haven't fully acknowledged the completion. It's not a completion of anything in your life physically, it's almost emotionally at this point, and I think you are grasping some of this concept, but I want you to grasp it as much as you can, because this is the healing lesson being involved. Healing and teaching. Can't explain it enough, and I want you to say thank you to yourself for watching this whole thing, because you actually sat through this, and if you got anything out of it, I thank you so much. So that is it for the 1 pile. Pile number 1 technically, but also the 1. You are the first pile, so take it into account of what could you do if you feel like you could emotionally make room for something, and not start over. Start with a new mindset on something. A new mindset with the same tools may have a different outcome and result. Who knows? Only time will tell. And if you aren't moving forward and taking your time to rebuild yourself after some level of your mindset has definitely been dismantled, I think the key part here is really exploring how you can now make room for good stuff. Something didn't work. Now you have space. Now you need to keep that in focus. That is a teaching lesson. And do not ignore your emotions. It's not about ignoring your emotions, because you have something truly passionate that makes you emotionally fulfilled. And that's the thing. It's the weird duality a little bit, but also the thing that's working together as the one energy here. You working on your passions whenever and wherever you can, or being passionate about the things that you do in general. Because I don't know what some of you may do for work, but maybe you guys are really passionate about moving up in a certain workplace, or moving into a different level of difficulty of something. Like it could be something a little more challenging, but I think the work is enjoyable. You do it with emotion and with passion, and do not give up on that. All right? Thank you for watching. Okay, pile number 2, welcome. Welcome to your Star Tarot read. You guys got the Seed. Very, very tiny little pearl right there in the center. And it's, I think, a huge spiral. I think it's like just a really, really huge spiral, or it's just a bunch of different circles. It's hard to tell. It's hard to follow. Like the rootlets that come from a seed. Alright, we're gonna read the archetype card, because I don't know if you recognize the oracle deck that this card is from, but this deck is very amazing in my opinion. I use it all the time, just for myself and for a lot of the readings that I would do on Twitch. And if you aren't following me on Twitch, sometimes I may read tarot or just talk about things that, if you have any questions about spirituality, I can yap for days about that. So probably somewhere, link in the description, all that fancy stuff, if you know what I mean. But here we have the seed, the beginning, the origin, the pearl. Beginnings come in many forms. They are not always a beautiful seed placed intentionally in a nourishing soil. Origin stories, like any birth story, are complex, surprising, multi-layered, and usually reveal a central image or a detail that represents the fully formed being. Simply stated, the end is the present in the beginning, or the entire oak tree resides within the acorn. Whether you follow this imaginal theory or not, know that when this card appears, there's potent generative energy all around. It stirs your very insides and usually results in an antsy, impatient feeling. Pay particular attention to what agitates you, as it is a sure sign of growth to come. You are bumping up against a growth edge. It is from the grit that the pearl eventually comes to be. One of the alchemist's favorite images was the pearl, the irritant. The irritant over time becomes the treasure. What is your grit? The true seed is elusive. As we follow any story towards its origin, it spirals farther and farther back in time. This is the way. We are always the seed and always the fruit that bears. Where do you feel like you have started in your life and haven't fully finished a project because it's like focusing on how a single root's gonna grow versus the rest of the roots in the ground? When you understand that all of it is going to grow into, that big oak tree that it kind of described, but why are we focusing on a specific root? And let's say this root is infected, diseased, it's sick, and it needs to go. You can't sit there and stare at it and hope that it's not going to, spread to the rest of the roots. I feel like there is an action that needs to be done in order for seeds to genuinely actually grow. Whether it's human action or natural action of just a seed falling off a tree, hitting the ground, and then the next day it rains, and what do you know? It starts growing a new tree. And I think this is the key. It's almost like worried that one seed won't make it, out of all the other seeds, this one seed, it won't make it, but there's thousands upon thousands of seeds that some trees make. And I think part of you is getting anxious on the fact that I always hear the silence after the battle when I look at the Five of Swords. I feel like you're so anxious and curious also about the silence, and you want it to fill everything but what is actually just the silence. What if the silence could just be the thing that fills the room? Even though it feels empty, it also feels full at the same time. Ooh. Getting a lot of different things here as well, so it's quite interesting to see a lot of these cards play out. I feel like there's a lot to do with how you believe truly in the core aspects of you. I feel like that's where it's really hitting the heart here in the Five of Swords. It's something that feels so to the core, but it's almost like these swords are not being placed in the right spot. I liked the part about the seed talking about how their origin stories are never pretty. It's never sunshines and rainbows for someone's origin story. So why should that stop you from growing into something like a beautiful oak tree kind of metaphor? And I think what it was trying to get when it was saying the irritant becomes the treasure, it essentially is talking about, what's your grit? What's the thing that really gets you to be determined for something to your core? You see something, you say something type of attitude, or I'm not gonna let people not hear what I have to say, whatever kind of little attitude that can come off as aggressive can also be the thing that protects you the most. And I think this is the big thing to talk about. What is your grit? What's the thing that gets you to be very determined? How can you shift something that isn't just hitting all of these random points in the heart? What if it kind of slotted into some things? It's almost like this part has got it here. This sword is a little off. And what if they were all on the points of the star? What if you shifted your perspective with a certain thought? That's what swords are represented as. Swords are thoughts in our mind. So what if you kind of took this thought and moved it to a different part of your heart that actually not only just unlocks a new part of you, but a new part of what you would be desired to stay like determined towards, determined to I can't even say, because there's probably a bunch of you reading into this, and it almost feels like just to be determined for your thing, like the thing that makes you you. And I don't know what that is exactly, because every one of you has some very big aspiration and actual blueprints to a plan, kind of like passionate dream here. Like, you got it all in your head and you know how to work it for you, but now you don't know how to be determined because of X, Y, and Z that you fear is stopping you, but you know part of it is also protecting you. It's this weird duality that we kind of fight ourselves with when it comes to human nature and how life can be very, very conflicting and confusing. And while we may be angry at one person, and some people may think, oh yeah, you went a little too far, the other people may think, no, you think you stood your ground. And who's really to say who's right? It's kind of your personal preference, kind of, at the end of the day. It's what you decide to let in, what boundary you decide to set, what commitment you decide to make, and to choose in your life. Sorry, kind of bonked my nail. Ow. Okay, I'm okay. I saw the Two of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck there just a second ago before I shuffled, and that is really the big aspect here that's playing out, is just sheer duality in how you feel about something, how you set your life to something. And I think a lot of this is getting you to see how you can be more intuitive in seeing these moments that make you feel like, I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't grow this plant because this one root is infected, and if I don't do anything, and if I just like kind of maybe clip it off and not really chop it off, but like if I just hold it and keep it together and just not like let it spread in the way that's not how you not let it spread. You need to like cut something out, not physically, like emotionally in your core. I feel that I think has been deeply rooted for a while. Instead of just ignoring what you're trying to hold down, not necessarily ignoring, when you take your hand off of it, you can then metaphorically go and cut it out and seed this thing out, you know, weed it out, whatever phrase you want to use that is best comfortable for you. You have the clearest path in your mind to do this, but I think you're just very fearful of what to give yourself onto the other side. Once you cross this path of, okay, I got it, I understand it, I can be like, sorry, that was actually my fault. I can be who I need to be, whatever it may be. Words are hard. I'll get these kind of separated here. Alright, shuffle again. It's almost like having anxiety for, like, once you get rid of the bad, well, what is good? How do I know what's good? Is that good? Am I good? How do I know if I'm good? I'm gonna take this card specifically because I saw the Three of Wands earlier, and this deck is a little large for my hands, so there's a lot of cards trying to come out. We will pull from the top for this last one, and boom. Now we will pull from some oracle decks. We have the Shamanic Healing Oracle, that's very, very simple, and the Sacred Geometry Oracle that we are going to read from the book from. And the book is a little meh, but I don't mind the book because it's actually very informative on certain levels. And it kind of makes sense due to a lot of numerology. Okay. Well, there's definitely an extra card here. You need to wake up. Wake up. Guess what? The first card you got is It's All Good. Everything that you have come up with is good. It's a good idea, a good plan, good path for you. But something in this past, present, future card, I wonder, what could it be? What could hold you back from feeling like something is a brand new day for you? Feeling fresh and clear in your head to pursue anything you want. The Three of Wands, I am very happy came out because I kept seeing, when I saw it on the bottom of the deck when I was talking about the Eight of Swords, I almost wanted to pull it, but I just kept shuffling and it came out on its own. And I'm very happy because I saw this bridge building. Three of Wands is literally the bridge building card. Like, that's all it does. And I think this candle here is trying to build a bridge to another candle, possibly. Let's help it out a bit. And very, very carefully. Oh no. I'm a silly goose. It didn't stay lit. I was trying to be careful. And not everything goes as planned, but we have our tools at the ready to keep these candles going. There you go. You can see it flickering now. It's taller than the other ones, just to clarify. All right. Sacred Geometry, what do you have for pile 2? What's going on for pile 2? Hello, I think this wanted to come out this way. Chakana? There's a lot of different worldly geometry in this, just to clarify. Oh, so if I mispronounce anything, I think we're gonna take a couple extra. I'm going to see these for myself. Okay. There's some that were feeling a little slippery, but looks like you got some extra cards here. So, getting into the book here for the Sacred Geometry Oracle, we have Chakana. The Chakana is the square cross of the Indian people of South America. It relates directly to the Southern Cross, the predominant feature in the night sky, and also a concept of spirit moving the lives of the people. Here, the steps or levels of the Chakana indicate the progression of movement from matter to spirit. It is the shaman's journey in the path of the initiate. Choosing this card reminds you to acknowledge the place at which you stand at this moment in time and place. From this vantage point, visualize the past, present, and future as a holographic and whole, multi-dimensional and constant state of change, and yet perfect in every moment. You wouldn't have known all the things you would have known if you didn't go through the experiences you went through. I think anyone can really hold on to that aspect of life sometimes. It's hard some days to feel that. But I feel like you are really grasping how the past, present, and future essentially are all working together. And I think you have a plan, but you need to believe in your own plan in order to find these sort of divine doorways you have here in front of you and in your life. You're the one that can open this in your heart. Open this sort of energy of bridge building in your heart, seeding out that infected root, cutting it out, and then maybe making a little band-aid, essentially. Making it a little hey, I can kind of hold on to at least the fact that you don't have to feel the infection per se. Feel the part that you need to kind of seed out in you. I hate to use that phrasing, but I feel like that's kind of the perfect phrasing here for it. All right, number 5, Divine Doorway. Doorways and portals make it possible to access other dimensions. Beneath the color scheme of this painting lies a sacred number matrix borrowed from the calendar of the ancient Maya. The water lilies represent your potential for enlightenment. The angelic figure is offered as a guardian and guide as you move through this doorway into realms you have yet to discover. This card invites you to contemplate a doorway to your divine center. This doorway will lead past the constraints of third-dimensional reality to a place of truth within. Ask your guides, teachers, and any other sort of, I'm going to say, spiritual mentors you may have, to assist you in moving to a quiet place where you will be ready to receive exactly the information you need at this moment. Listen to the voice of your intuition. Pay attention to any images or messages you receive, no matter how cryptic or obscure they may seem. I second that, because the mind is very good at making us feel those sharp edges of our thoughts. Note them in your journal and continue to observe how they feel in your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies as you return to this reality. This is an access point to other dimensions. Respectfully acknowledge the gifts of inner sight. Using your inner sight to reflect on the past and the present and what you could do to work on helping your future self in a way, you could say. We have number 3, the tetrahedron, and it has come out in reversed, which is kind of interesting. I do know this triangle reversed represents water energy. So upright essentially kind of represents fire. Fire is action, water is emotion. So there's definitely a lot of emotion playing out here, but I know I don't need to tell you twice about all of that stuff. The tetrahedron speaks to the divine masculine side of your nature. We all have divine masculine and divine feminine energies. If you know what that is, you know what it is. It's basically yin and yang energies within us. This is the place of action. This is the fire of ambition and understanding that it will take to bring ideas and projects to fruition. Is there a project you have been considering or a decision you have been putting off? Now is the time to take action and initiate movement that will activate ideas and complete creative projects. In the downward facing position, however, it is water. This is passive, and this is feminine energy, divine feminine energy. This is a place of safe passage and love. It is not a time for action, but a time to rest. Breathe deeply and recover your sacred center. No action is indicated, but action can be creating that stillness, that safe passage of love. You creating that safe passage of love, that time for no action, sometimes needs that action to be placed there and to be put there and to be like put out to there, I guess you could say, more thoroughly. I want to get into this last card, that is the tarot card, because I'm very curious of what is to come for all of this stuff here. You, goofily enough, you goofy goober are not listening to your inner soul. You're not listening to your inner heart, and you're not listening to your inner self about what you feel like is good for you. But you deep down know what's good for you. So when you feel something that is truly like, this is the me, not just the you that, oh, I kind of like this thing and it's kind of fun. Like, no, what? This is time to ask yourself the core questions. They're not the hard questions, but it's the core questions. If I'm going to describe me, the tarot reader here, hello, my name is Jessie or Jess or Cosmic, I don't really care what you call me. I am a dancer, I am a tarot reader, I am a spiritual enthusiast, you could say, because I personally don't have a specific, like, religion I follow or, like, specific belief system. I believe in a lot of different things, and I'm willing to explore more things. So I say enthusiast because I am very, very intrigued by a lot of different information out there. These are my core things. But I can sit here and tell you that I really like cosplay. I really like painting, like acrylic painting. I really like drawing. I really like video games, but those aren't like, video games obviously could be a core thing, but I'm just a nerd in general. So that is a core thing. Like when we talk about being a nerd about something, you could just say, I'm a nerd for this or I'm a nerd for that. You are infatuated with it and you like looking and collecting and exploring all the different things about just whatever you like. Nerd stuff can be your core thing. It's not a weird thing. But there's other little things that I like that fall under, like me being a dancer can also really have this side thing. It's called flow arts, and if you have seen any other of my content or watch my Twitch streams, I do flow art content, and that's like a whole other niche category that I didn't really even discover until like just a couple years ago. But that is not me to my core. Like to my core, I'm a dancer, born and raised kind of a thing. I am a self-taught freestyle dancer, and I take pride in that because that is me to my core. But I can flow art and I can do all these other things, and that's okay that I can do those things, but it's about recognizing who you are to your core and following through with that, because I think that's the big thing that you're forgetting is you are your own Hierophant here. You are your own teacher. And sometimes there's a phrase about like, when the student's ready, the teacher appears. I think you need to be your own student for a second here. Remind yourself that you are the seed that is getting watered and the person that is watering the seed all at the same time. I think you really need to use that metaphor to really grasp this concept, because it's going to help you build these bits of, not bridges building within you, but actual growth that you feel like is happening within you, that you can see even more opportunities. That's what butterflies usually represent, is opportunities and possibilities for a brand new day. But you got to be the one to commit to yourself here. Can you commit to yourself enough to where your future self is going to think back on this as like a, oh, damn, that was hard, but I'm so glad we went through it. I'm so glad that we got to the core of ourselves and understood it understood yourself to the core. Because all these plans that you have here as the King of Swords, being very, very determined, maybe a little too abruptly, a little too harsh on yourself about things that you're determined for, you need to commit to actual growth in yourself. Because that's the thing you really need to hear. That's the thing that really is hitting you in the gut. Because sometimes creating action can save you time to have no action, to have rest, to have rejuvenating kind of energy. And just re-energizing yourself to the core. And reminding yourself that you are just sitting with me, myself, and I. It is a team. When you're talking about me, myself, and I, past, present, future self, and whatever you could think of like mother, maiden, crone energy for like when you're talking about past, present, and future selves kind of a thing. Whatever metaphors you may have, the Chakana, there's also a bunch of different symbols. I want you to trust in what you know to your core. And I think that will guide you into something more than you could ever imagined. And I thank you for listening to this pile. Thank you for listening to this reading. And I will see you in the next one. Bye. Alrighty, you guys chose the ring. Welcome, pile 3. We're gonna get into this oracle card here first. I liked how it came out kind of sideways here. I feel like this very much represents like a galaxy almost here. Let's get it to focus a bit better. And almost like a portal to a different galaxy. It's kind of cool. I like how they braided the rings there. Alrighty. If you aren't familiar with this oracle deck, it is this card is from the Archetypes Oracle, which I absolutely love with all my heart. I think it's the coolest, in my opinion. It has helped me a lot. The infinite, the wheel, the connection, the ring. The ring is an image of connectedness, rather than viewing life as linear, as a series of progressive achievements. The ring challenges us to sense the cyclical, infinite nature of our world and experiences. Beginnings and endings fall by the wayside as we practice seeing ourselves as part of the cosmic circulatory. My brain cannot say this word now. I just want to at least show you what word I'm trying to say. As part of the cosmic, I want to say, cycle of creation. For this reason, it is no surprise a ring is worn on the finger to represent internal love that surpasses space, time, and worldly things. So much can be projected onto this archetypal image because it mimics the Earth's orbit around our greatest sun and the intimate bond between two lovers. It is the micro and macro united. This card calls us to deepen connection with self, other, and the world at large. Meanwhile, there may be a literal ring awaiting to adorn your finger. Take stock of the jewels you adorn yourself with. Watch out for rings you wear out of habit that keep you connected to the old you. Study images of the mandala, the unus mundus, and the Ouroboros, and the medicine wheel. Quite intriguing, pile 3. Very curious of what this could actually really all be connecting to, because the main thing I'm picking up is literally all about interconnectedness. Like, your lesson here to learn today is going to be a lesson on interconnectedness in any sort of way that you could think of. And I think that is almost asking you to ask, like, to say, hey, imagine what something beyond space-time kind of looks or feels like. Yeah, that's not really feasible to the human mind sometimes. It's a little, it's asking to, like, imagine what your imagination is, if that makes sense. And I don't think we can really do that. We can't imagine a space that we imagine in, if that makes sense. It just looks like the same thing. Ooh. Sorry, it didn't even click in my head what card that was. That is the Two of Cups right there. I want you to understand that when you feel interconnected to a person, that is more than something that you can explain. And it almost feels like a best friendship for life. You need to actually go after it. I think this is something that someone needed to hear of, like, I think I either hear someone saying, damn, I gotta get a ring, or holy fuck, damn, I gotta take a chance. I gotta go for it. I gotta take this opportunity where it's at. And I think the big thing you recognize is you don't have much time to lose or to wait for or wait on. There's a lot that I think is moving very fast, but this is going to actually just spin you for the craziest loop in your life that I feel like you could have ever, like, imagined or thought of. And we are going to do this in a very fancy way. We're going to stop there, and I'm going to pull from the top at the end. And then we're going to get some oracle decks here in a second. Not right this moment, because I want to look into Two of Cups, Three of Wands, Knight of Swords, the Hangman. This is a great representation of how interconnectedness plays in love when it comes to how our emotions are when we feel the true love to our core, and we see how true love can expand our heart in so many ways. Expanding your sense of growth, your sense of awareness, your sense of enlightenment in yourself, new perspectives you're gaining, everything about it turns your life on its head. And yet you still chose to run for it. And you will always run towards this person, this aspect of life, I want to say. It's like a personal relationship you have with either something, like a thing you're doing actively, or like person. This is your person, this is your moment, this is your whatever it may be. And it doesn't necessarily always have to involve love, because it's so much love that you're feeling that is getting you to actually see how love is changing you. It's not just, hey, I fell in love with this thing or with this person or with this activity. I fell in love with this passionate thing, this passionate person, and I'm so passionately in love with this part of my life that I can't help but notice it's changing me as a person. And I don't think you get to feel afraid at all. Like, this is a part where like no one in this energy would ever get to feel afraid at any moment. Even if you had a like you had a jump scare from the universe, there's nothing that could take this feeling in this moment of feeling this way right in this second. No one can take that moment away from you. Because you feel it currently right now. You feel how passionate you are to change your perspective on so many things, but you didn't imagine how new and amazing this new perspective would feel. And you know that you'd have to obviously come down off this hangman tree, but it's just sitting here and observing this hangman in reverse is just almost allowing you to genuinely see like someone walking on water. But I don't know if anyone's ever seen a synchronized swimmer. Like, they look like they're walking on water underwater. That's kind of what it feels like you're doing. You're walking on like the surface plane of the surface tension of the water per se, and it's kind of cool sometimes the way they do it. Let's get into the oracle cards. We have the Shamanic Healing Oracle here and the Sacred Geometry Oracle as well. Let's start with the Shamanic Healing Oracle. And that really wanted to jump back in, so let's make sure. I think pile 3 has a very just to the T message here. Hold on. There we go. Just want to make sure some things aren't too loud. I do have roommates, and it's totally fine. Let's see here. Let's get a, oh, I was gonna say, let's get a good shuffle. Oh my, you just have omens. Good, bad? I don't know. Just to say. You have omens and slow but steady. You have 2 cards that literally are calling to clear your head of any confusion here. You feel confused if you should follow this passionate, heartfelt thing? No, you don't. You feel confused whether you're gonna be, maybe some of you are confused whether you're gonna be the same person once you come out of these new perspectives. Yes, you are. You've always been this person. I think this is something core to you. And whether people have seen you act in this kind, passionate, very committed, passionately committed way, you can't care less. I think you need to actually have this, like, I can't care less, and I'm gonna take my fucking time. And if slow but steady is fast to some other people, then maybe they don't realize how actually slow you're taking it, how actually honest and committed you are to something. Because when you're truly committed to something, slow but steady may be like the super, like, let's say this is love, and you are just absolutely falling in love with somebody, and each and every time that you spend time with them, you find this more and more like aspects of love to give to them and to share with this other person. And the slow but steady could just be an 8-hour like hang out with like a 4 hour like deep conversation about the world, and you are just staying up all night way past midnight just constantly hanging out and enjoying each other's presence. That is a slow but steady moment, isn't it? Spending hours with somebody. Oh, but you just met this person, you just this, or you just started doing this activity. What do you mean that like you're taking it slow? You're taking each and every day slow and not fast to where you have to be at 12 different things for like 30 minutes and, oh yeah, I got a lot done today because I went to 12 things, but you only did each thing for like 30 minutes. And I don't know the math on that. It's definitely 6 hours. If we were cutting it in half, it would be 6 hours. Doing, like, basically doing things, but not working on the thing that's truly passionate. Just because people have a lot that they want to do and they think that is the right way to do things doesn't mean your way's the wrong way. I think a lot of things in life can have moments of projection where we feel that slow but steady may not be the same slow but steady for other people. I think you need to realize what's slow but steady for you. Ooh. We have the Kabbalah, which is also the Tree of Life. For anyone who isn't familiar with the Tree of Life, it is it's very symbolic in very different ways. And the Octagon. So we're just going to read straight from the book. I may need to like reword some of the weird things the book may word. Some of the meanings are really cute, and then some are just like a little like abrupt that I'm like, okay, let me just dumb this down. Not dumb it down like you're dumb, just dumb it down because, hey, this is a little too serious. Too super serious. So you have the Kabbalah. Ooh, oh my goodness, I see this Kabbalah as 100% as beloved, so below. Many cultures around the planet hold trees in reverence. Most cultures native to forested or jungle environments have elaborated myths surrounding the powers of trees. Some even consider them gods or a means of traveling to the spirit world. Their names are various: Tree of Knowledge, Tree of Perfection, World Tree. For the Maya, it is the Raised Up Sky Tree. From mystical Judaism, this card diagrams the Tree of Life called the Kabbalah. It holds instructions for conscious and self-exploration. It is the world access within 10 archetypes, 10 lights. The geometry of the Tree of Life is also encoded within the figure called the Flower of Life. Pulling this card suggests that you are in a process of self-actualization and growth. Given that it is in reverse, the energy that is around this sort of reversed energy isn't that necessarily you, like, it says you've lost your way on the path of self-exploration. I don't think you've lost your way. I think the point of finding what you want to find out, these new things and new explorations and perspectives you want to explore, is having to get lost to get found. And the energy cleansing is advised, and then regroup your intention and proceed with your quest. There's something about always kind of cleansing your energy here, because you need to get lost to get found again. I must put the book away, because we have to read up on the Octagon. Getting lost to getting found is also a big aspect for omens, because sometimes if people were lost at sea, the biggest thing that they would try and look for was a bird. That would tell them exactly where they were going and where they needed to go at some points. And I feel like this is a big aspect to really kind of, you know, not necessarily judge, but like judge how you see omens in life. Judge how you see how little breadcrumbs of your passionate love for something has led you to feeling not just lost, but like, oh, this feels lost because I'm new to this, and your whole life you spent thinking that you had to find this passionate love, in a certain way and you found it in such an unorthodox way, I feel that is completely putting you for a loop and you feel lost because it's what's the old way. Remember those rings that hold on to your old self? You can cleanse a lot of jewelry if you need to. I think there is a lot of cleansing involved. And literal showers can cleanse you. So just being in the shower and being conscious that you are cleansing yourself is a good aspect to this slow but steady energy, because the octagon is all about nourishment and the mother goddess. The octagon has 8 sides and represents resonance and nurturing. It embodies sympathetic magic, phases of the moon, and periodic renewal. 8 multiplied by 8 is 64. There are 64 known codons in human DNA. 64 hexagrams in the I Ching, 64 squares on a chessboard, and 64 cards in this oracle deck. Choosing this card suggests that you will find success and nourishment in the matter of your inquiry. Given that this is reverse, the reverse meaning is also kind of this, you will find success the more you challenge yourself to start a new exercise program. Get up, get out, and make something happen. You are the creator of your own reality, so do not let your life just slip away. This is leading back to why the Hangman is in reversed. You love gaining new perspectives. You love gaining this enlightenment and this emotional understanding about yourself. You need to get the boots back on the ground. You are completely upside down, but remind yourself that you are also on a mission. You may be getting lost in all the knowledge and all of the amazing omens that you're seeing and synchronicities that are playing out, but do not get lost in getting lost. You want to get lost in getting found. You kind of see how it's a little different now? You're getting lost in the energy of getting found again. And that is something that is really, really speaking to your soul right now. And I think you are very much teetering on this, well, I'm not sure what to get lost in. Get lost in finding your feet on the ground again. Whatever gets you running, whatever gets you motivated, and get up, get out, and start moving. Challenge yourself to new things or a new part of something, you know? We're going to get into the last card here. Flip this over. What did we just say about new things? Ace of Wands, the literal, like, new ideas, new creative energy card. New energy. Whatever that may be. Sometimes it's just about using what fires you up the first. Like, whatever's the first thing in your mind that's going to fire you up and get you moving in life. As long as you are continuing to move, whether it's in new ways and with new tools or new activities, whatever it may be, this new aspect is helping you move forward towards this slow but steady, like, long-term pace of love. You feel it fast in your heart, but it is something that is lasting so long, and sometimes it's like something so passionately sweet that you're going to be able to savor for years and years and many more years that you could ever think of to come. So I'm going to sit here and say, get started on whatever you wanted to do today. Whenever you're watching this, either if you're watching this and you got to go do stuff, hey, go do that thing you said you're going to do tomorrow. And then maybe, you know, treat yourself to a little fun. If that thing you said you were going to do tomorrow was like chores or like adulting, give yourself a little fun. Do something a little new or different for the day. And maybe have a little new adventure in your life. And I think you'll find the actual real passionate way again. You'll feel the hooves of this horse hitting the ground while it's charging into your life. But also steadying yourself on this horse so it's not super out of control in a way. Not like you can control the wheels of fate, but you can control how you have energy towards your creative new projects and prospects. Thank you for letting me read your cards. Thank you for listening to this reading. And that is all I have for you. Bye!